Hey everybody, it's Wednesday. It's time for roll call. We kick off Albert's Weather Classroom with a roll call. I want to hear, where are you watching from? What grade are you in? We've got a lot of friends watching right now. I see Zachary here in Austin in 5th grade is watching. We've got Jordan, who's in high school, junior in high school out in Round Rock. We've got Gerald in the house, a 4th and a 5th grader. We've got a postdoc Sharuthi watching. We've got Jenny, who's a counselor at Purple Sage Elementary watching. Kathy Rutherford says Maya, Leander, 6th grade. So good to see everybody. And if you have your parents or your big brother or your big sister or your aunt, uncle, send me a photo. We'll share them on the 10 o'clock news and we'll kick off some photos of our friends watching our lessons. Doesn't even have to be from today. If you got a picture of you watching from our Monday's lesson or Tuesday's lesson, we love to see it. Look at our new friends. This has been a lot of fun. Monday, we talked about introduction to weather. I provided the link there for you so you can take a look at that one if you missed it. It's on YouTube. The recording's on YouTube. Yesterday, we talked all about the atmosphere. That recording is also there. And today's a little bit different. Today, we're dedicating our Wednesday to reading. It's all about reading today. So yesterday we focused, elementary and middle, maybe even junior high. Today we want to make sure the babies, that we're taking care of them. So we're going to read together today, and then we'll hop back into it with severe weather for tomorrow. So there's some other friends that have been watching our lessons. Have your parents, have the grown-up take a picture of you watching. Send them to me. KVUE Albert, KVUE Albert, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and we'll share photos like this as we kick off Albert's Weather Classroom each day, and also I'll share it on the 10 o'clock news. So here's what we're doing today, everybody. It is Reading Wednesday. All right, today's all dedicated about reading, and I'm gonna have a weather book every Wednesday, and this is kind of a cool story. Freddy the Frogcaster by Janice Dean, the Weather Machine, illustrated by Russ Cox. Janice Dean is a meteorologist like me. Janice Dean has been so nice that she not only gave us the thumbs up to share her book with all of you, that I can put it on the big screen so you can read along. She also, how cool is this? She also provided me copies of the rest of her books. So we're going to do one about, I think it's a hurricane next week. But let me introduce you to Freddie. I think Freddie may be our mascot before it's all said and done. Who's ready to go? Another shout out. Let's see. We've got Marita in Georgetown. She's turning 1 today. That's awesome. We've got 8th grader Tyler watching. All right, let's get into Freddy the Frogcaster. Settle in and we'll read together. Blue skies, puffy white clouds, sunshine with a light breeze. Perfect weather for lily pad hopping in the pond near Freddy's house. Freddy liked rainy days too, splashing in puddles, listening to the pitter-patter of rain on the roof. Snowy days were also lots of fun. A day off from school to build snow frogs. The air so cold, Freddy could see his own breath. Hot chocolate sitting in front of a toasty fire. All kinds of weather made Freddy happy. But what do you expect from a frog who loves weather? Freddy's mom says Freddy was born to be a frogcaster. She remembers the very day it became clear. Freddy was hardly bigger than a tadpole as she pushed him along in his stroller. He pointed at the big gray cloud and said, "Rain!" And it was his very first word. And he was right. Mama Frog barely had time to push the stroller home before it started to pour. From that day on, Freddy and his mom watched Sally Croker, the chief frogcaster on the Frog News Network, every morning. Sally was the best meteorologist in town. Everyone relied on Sally's forecasts to plan their weekends, trips, and events. As Freddy grew, he kept his eye on the sky, watching the clouds for clues about what the weather would be like each day. Some days there were big heaps of puffy white clouds that looked like cotton candy. Sometimes the clouds looked flat and hazy, like a big gray blanket covering the sky. Some clouds were wispy and curly, like a horse's tail. And those that watched yesterday, we know what those big puffy white clouds are, right? What are those called? Cumulus? We know what those flat clouds look like. Stratus? The wispy ones, what were those called? The real high ones. Cirrus clouds. If you missed yesterday's lesson, check it out. Freddy was so interested in weather that Papa Frog built him a weather station in their backyard. It had thermometers and barometers and all kinds of weather gear. On the roof was a weather vane to show the wind's direction. Freddie's parents never had to ask him what he wanted for his birthday or special holidays. The weather books, the charts and tools they gave him always made him happy. Freddie started each day by gathering weather clues. He watched the clouds, of course, but he also paid attention to the clues like temperature, barometric pressure, and humidity too. Then he ran back to the house to watch Sally's weather forecast to see if his predictions were right. At first, Freddie's mom thought all of his weather watching was cute, but Freddie was right so many times that Mama Frog couldn't help but boast to her friends about Freddie's amazing weather prediction abilities. Before long, the whole town knew about Freddie's forecasting ways. One day at school, Freddie's friend, Holly Hopper, was worried that it would rain on her birthday and ruin her outdoor party. Their teacher, Mrs. Fabian, said, "Why don't we ask our very own Frogcaster for help?" Mrs. Fabian handed Freddie her chalk and Freddie drew the forecast on the blackboard. He explained how a high-pressure system was hovering right over Lily Pad. This meant the weather should be sunny and warm for the next few days. Hooray! The whole class clapped and cheered when Freddie finished his report. He was so excited and very happy when Holly invited him to her party. Then one day, something happened that changed Freddie's daily weather routine. Sally Croker, Freddie's favorite TV frogcaster, had 3 little tadpoles. While Sally was out on tadpole leave, the Frog News Network hired a new frogcaster to fill in. Her name was Polly Walkins, and boy, oh boy, was she a hit. Every group in town invited her to come speak at their meetings. From the Salamander Society and the Leaping Lizard League to the Frog Masons and the Bullfrog Ballet. All of her special appearances kept her hopping from dawn to dusk. All that attention was great for the news network. Even more frogs tuned in to see the new Frogcaster in action. But Freddie started to notice a change in the forecast. It seemed like Polly was so busy making her celebrity appearances that she didn't have time to watch the weather clues. Several days in a row, Freddie's forecasts were more accurate than Polly's. Some days, Polly didn't seem to have a forecast at all. Mother Nature is being tricky today. It may be sunny, it may rain, who knows? It might even snow. Be prepared. That's Polly Walkins. Frogs were hopping around town, juggling their umbrellas, sunglasses, and mittens. That way they'd be prepared for any type of weather. Look at this. We got this guy, he's ready for rain. He's ready for the beach. She's ready for winter. So is this guy. He didn't have coffee this morning. One day the mayor dropped to pay Freddie a visit. He knew about Freddie's broadcasting skills and needed a big favor. "Mr. Mayor, what can I do for you, sir?" Freddie asked politely. "As you know, Freddie, the Leapfrog Picnic is just a week away. It's a big event for frog families near and far. It is very important to have an accurate weather forecast that day," the mayor said. "Why are you telling me?" Freddie looked puzzled. "Polly Walkins is the new frogcaster." The mayor looked one way, then he looked the other way. He leaned in close and said in a quiet voice, "The thing is, Polly is so busy with her frog fans, she barely has time to say weather, let alone forecast it. I need you to keep an eye on the weather so we can plan a great day." "I'll do my best, Mr. Mayor," Freddie said. Then Freddie offered to show the mayor his weather station. As Freddie led the mayor out to the backyard, he explained, "Weather gets tricky to forecast this time of the year. One day it's warm and dry, the next it's cool and rainy. If it gets cold enough, it could even snow." The mayor was quite impressed with Freddie's weather station. "Amazing," he declared, certain he had found the right frog for the job. "Remember, Freddie, the whole town is counting on you to get this right." Freddie wasn't about to let the town down. Every day he checked and rechecked all the weather clues at least 3 times. Things were looking fine until the day before the picnic. If the cold front moving in from the west mixed with warm air blowing in from the south, it could bring fierce thunderstorms. Freddie knew thunderstorms and picnics were not a good combination. And not just because it could soak all the fried cricket sandwiches, it could put the frogs in real danger. Freddie was worried. Polly Walkins hadn't mentioned a word about rain in her last report. Freddie had to do something. He called the mayor and asked him to meet at his weather station. But when the mayor arrived, he wasn't alone. Freddie's favorite TV forecaster, Sally Croker, was with him, tadpoles in tow. "I heard you needed help," she explained. With no time to waste, Sally and Freddie started checking for clues about the cold front coming their way. "Mr. Mayor," she finally said, "Freddie's right. There is a big storm on the way." "Quick, turn on the TV," said the mayor. "Maybe we can get word to Polly in time for her last forecast." But they were too late. Polly was signing off, promising her viewers, "Be prepared for perfect picnic weather tomorrow." "Uh-oh," Sally said. "Uh-oh is right," said the mayor. "Hey, wait a minute," said Freddie. "She's not all wrong." The mayor and Sally were confused. "Be prepared," said Freddie. She said, "Be prepared? We can do that." "Why, yes, we can," agreed the mayor with a big sigh of relief. "Come on, Freddie, we've got work to do." The big day started out fine, sunny and warm. All the frogs were playing and laughing, diving into the lily pond and drying off in the warm sun. Right before lunch, things started to change. The fluffy white clouds turned gray and lumpy. There was a chill in the air, and the wind started to howl. A loud rumble sounded in the distance. Big, sloppy raindrops began to fall. The mayor grabbed a megaphone and said, "Please move your family and your food to the Frogatorium. I repeat, everyone head to the Frogatorium now." Freddie held up a big white sign with a red arrow pointing the fleeing froggies in the right direction. Thanks to Sally and a big supply of umbrellas, everyone scurried to safety. In no time at all, the frogs were enjoying an indoor picnic, cheering on the winner of the fly eating contest and practicing for the Leapfrog race. Happy frogs were nibbling on food piled high on the big tables that Freddie, Sally, and the mayor had set up the night before. They had taken Polly's advice to be prepared and were ready for sunshine or rain. Wouldn't you know it, the Leapfrog Picnic was a huge success. The mayor and Sally made sure everyone knew that Freddie's forecasting had saved the day. Freddie had never received so many high fives in his life. Even Polly Walkins stopped by to thank him. She was a little embarrassed, but happy to give credit where credit was due. "You know, Freddie," she said, "I could sure use a frogcaster like you to help out with my frogcast. Would you like to be my assistant?" I would. Freddie couldn't help but hop up and down with excitement. Everyone laughed. "Oh, look," said Sally. "Look over there." All the frogs turned to see where she was pointing. It was the biggest, most beautiful rainbow Freddie had ever seen. Freddie smiled. Things always look better after the sun comes out, and the future sure did look bright for this little frogcaster. And that is Freddie the Frogcaster. We've got another Freddie book next Wednesday. There's a great series. Again, this is a book by Janice Dean, and parents and kids, there's some great resources on the back of the book. I'll show them to you here. A letter from Freddie. It talks about the different types of clouds. Really cool book here. Talks about all the different weather equipment. Like a thermometer measures temperature, a rain gauge measures the amount of rain, a weather vane shows us which direction the wind is coming, an anemometer, that's this right here, measures wind speed, a barometer measures pressure, high and low pressure, shows the difference between cold fronts and warm fronts. Some other great resources there, but here's what you can do, since this was a little bit shorter than the last couple of days. FreddyTheFrogcaster.com. And I told Janice I was going to share this with y'all, but if you go to FreddyTheFrogcaster.com and you go to the activities section, there are some really cool things that you can do, not necessarily today, but whenever you have time. There's experiments. This is really neat too. It's a KidCaster weather journal where you can print it out and track the weather each day, the clouds, the temperature and stuff like that. An activity on how to make your own weather station. And look at this, Freddie was always talking about clues, weather station clue book. So great activities here, and also great resource for you parents and kids alike. FreddyTheFrogcaster.com. Just hit the activities button. So again, Wednesday, today a little different than the last couple of days. Wednesday is dedicated to reading, and we'll jump back into our severe weather lesson tomorrow. So Freddie the Frogcaster in the books, literally. Again, we wanted to make sure that we had a curriculum that covered all ages. Thunder Thursday, and I put elementary and up, but everyone welcome. I think even high school students would enjoy tomorrow. Tomorrow on our Thunder Thursday, we're going to talk about tornadoes, hail, lightning, and we're going to talk about how they develop, why they develop, right? We're really going to get into the science there. I've got some cool videos that I'm going to add in today for tomorrow's lesson that starts at noon tomorrow, broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. And then Forecast Friday, for everybody, but especially for the the older kids, it's basically just going to be me and you, and I'm just going to show you all the different links that I look at and share those links with you, and all the different maps that I look at. And I'm basically going to show you how I put a forecast together. So it's a little bit different than these two first lectures and the Thursday lecture. It's just kind of like just hanging out together if you were with me in the Weather Center, and I'll show you everything and look at. A preview of next week, on Monday at noon, we're going to do Career Day. If you have a budding scientist or meteorologist at your house, I'm going to tell you about all the different jobs that a meteorologist can do. Not just TV, a very small percentage of meteorologists are actually TV meteorologists like me. There's a lot that work for the National Weather Service, a lot that work for private industry. So we'll talk all about that and the different kind of equipment that we use to track weather. You saw Freddie had some cool gear. We have even cooler gear, I feel like. And then we're going to get into space on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 31st. The planets, the moon, the sun, the stars, meteors, meteorites, all that kind of stuff. Next Wednesday, a week from today, this will be another Freddie book, actually, for Reading Wednesday. We'll get into tropical storms and hurricanes, and then we'll finish out our week 2 with another Forecast Friday. We'll see what's going on across the nation and forecast together. Sound good? That was a lot of fun. I'll rewind this, and we'll give a shout out to the, if you missed this towards the beginning, we're just giving shout outs to, come on, Freddie, to all our wonderful viewers. Just so happy everyone's been enjoying these, and again, so happy you've been jumping on here at noon. This will probably be the shortest one that we'll have, but hey, reading is good, and we have the opportunity to read together. Let's do it. So one more picture, and I'll show you some of the great students watching. Some of your photos of you watching Albert's Weather Classroom, KVUE Albert, KVUE Albert on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So that's about it, everybody. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. If you're here in the Austin area, I'll see you at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock on the news.